Hi friends, before we get started, it's time for us to celebrate on this channel because today we have crossed 100 subscribers on this channel and it wouldn't have been possible without your support. So thank you so much for such an overwhelming response. Okay, enough of celebration, let's get back to work. So in today's video, I thought of sharing some gyan on artificial intelligence, specifically on machine learning. Although I have covered a video specifically on machine learning earlier also, but I thought of coming up with a series of videos on this topic so that we can understand a little more deeper on this subject, because there are different types of machine learning which exist and each one has its unique application and the way it is being performed. Now, what is machine learning? Machine learning in a layman's term is nothing but learning from data, whether it is structured or unstructured data. So you learn from the data and then comes the English part of it. So when I say English, is like what is that you're trying to predict or draw inferences out of this data. And how is this done? This is done with the help of models. So what are the different types of machine learning? So there are basically three types of machine learning. First one is supervised learning, the second one is unsupervised learning, and the third one is reinforced learning. But on this week's in this week's video, we would cover supervised learning. So let's look into it. Now the question comes, what is supervised learning? So supervised learning, there are two things that we should keep in mind. First itself, the name, it is supervised learning, which means there is a person who is supervising this entire machine learning process. And the second thing is all the input data which is fed to the system is all labeled data, and we are working towards a desired outcome. So all results which are around prediction generally falls under supervised learning. Like if in case you want to predict whether you'll pass or fail a particular exam, so in that case you can use this. The other area where it can be used is like if you want to predict weather, if you want to predict stock prices, and so on and so forth. Supervised learning doesn't come alone. So there are different types also of supervised learning. So the first one that we want to talk about is regression supervised learning. What is this? So in this case, if you are trying to predict result in the form of a number or a level, then that's your regression supervised learning. For example, if you're trying to predict rainfall, if you're trying to predict salary, if you're trying to predict GDP, if you're trying to predict stock prices, or you're trying to predict the life expectancy in case of insurance, all of these will fall under regression supervised learning. There's another one to it which gives categorical results, and those are called as classification supervised learning. Under this also there are a couple of types. Let's understand that. So now in case of classification supervised learning, what happens is your results are in the form of a yes or no, just like I mentioned about an example of if you are trying to predict the result of an exam, whether pass or fail. So that's one type of classification supervised learning. The other one is like if you have an email and you have to categorize the result in the form of a spam or a not spam. So that's another example. But what happens if there is an email and you have to classify into more than two buckets? Say for example, general folder, training folder, complaints folder, and so on and so forth. So these are your multi-class classification supervised learning, whereas wherever there are just two classes, those are called as two class classification supervised learning. So that's all about supervised learning. Hope you liked and understood this concept in a simplified way. If you still have question, please do write to me. With that, me Sarika Hussain signing off for today. Happy learning.